Laker fans really test your patience. They act like the whole league spins around them, maybe because LA is always the headline team. From Jerry West to Wilt, Kareem to Magic, Shaq to Kobe, LeBron to now Luka, they've never been short on superstar talent. They expect every big-name free agent to land in Hollywood, and half the time, they're right. Got Kevin Durant rumors? They'll trade you Rui and Jordan Goodwin without blinking. Whisper about Giannis? Here's Finney Smith and Gabe Vincent on a silver platter. And just when you think the Lakers window might slam shut, LeBron hits 40. Then they go snag the league's most untradeable asset, Luka. Meanwhile, they'll wax poetic about suffering through the Lonzo Ingram era, even though those guys turned into solid role players. Bottom line, Laker fans. Can't live with them, can't ignore them. Celtics fans have that "we're the blueprint" vibe down pat. Fresh off their 18th banner, they talk like they invented the game. Every matchup turns into a Celtics history pop quiz. Championships, legends, records, no matter the scoreboard. Lose to Miami? They shrug. We'll be back. Like that one slip-up means nothing when you're sitting on a mountain of rings. They'll flex stats. Most threes in a season, best defensive rating, like they predicted it all along. Got an injury? It's never a hiccup, just wait till everyone's healthy territory. Jason Tatum's knee acting up or Kristaps Porzingis catching an elbow? No sweat. They're undefeated on a full roster. And if you dare say last year's squad was better, they'll argue this year's group is already an upgrade. Bottom line, Celtics fans sound like they've got the NBA cheat code, and everyone else is still stuck on level 1. Knicks fans are riding a roller coaster they didn't buy tickets for. One night they're blowing out Brooklyn by 25, and the next they're handing Detroit a W like it's 1970 all over again. On paper, this squad looks stacked. Brunson flirting with 28 a night, Towns bullying the paint, and Bridges plus OG prowling on D. Yet somehow they trip over teams they should steamroll. Every win has the Garden roaring finals run, and the very next loss sparks, what's Tibbs doing? Panic. They'll crown Brunson a Hall of Famer one minute, then wonder why McBride isn't seeing the floor the next. They brag about grit, then lose their cool the second things go sideways. Nuggets fans are total stat nerds because their whole world spins around Nikola Jokic's insane numbers. The guy's flirting with a 30-13-10 triple-double while shooting over 62%, and every game feels like crunch time on a calculator. When he dropped 31 points, 21 boards, and 22 assists in that wild loss to Phoenix, the Denver faithful lost it, and who can blame them? No one else in the league is putting up those kinds of digits, so they clutch every Jokic stat like it's a family heirloom. They know exactly how many times he touches the ball each night, and love reminding you that nearly half the team's scoring comes from his buckets or dimes. When the Nuggets win, fans break down the box score like they're in a courtroom. 13 of 17 shooting, plus 14 assists in 37 minutes, and if they stumble, it's minus 20 without Joker. Pray for this man. Jokic flipped this franchise from under the radar to don't sleep on us, and every new stat line feels like another trophy. Nuggets fans don't just watch basketball, they live in the box score. Heat fans were living in a dream until the Cavs swept them right out of the playoffs. They limped into the postseason at 37-45, then couldn't snag a single win against Cleveland. After shipping Jimmy Butler to Golden State, they leaned on Tyler Herro like he was the second coming of D-Wade, but Herro's 20 a night couldn't stop the Cavs' charge. They'd been chanting about Heat culture like it was a magic wand, celebrating that Boston upset like it proved everything. Now, getting blanked 4 games straight by Cleveland is more than an off series. They draped themselves in Bam's defense and coach's schemes, acting like it could paper over every roster hole, but it couldn't. Even talk of reloading with draft picks can't sugarcoat a sweep. Heat fans expected contender status. They got a harsh lesson in reality instead. Thunder fans are downright fortunate. They pulled off what seemed impossible, losing Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, and still turning into a powerhouse. Most franchises would fold after 3 MVP departures, but OKC flipped Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plus a haul of picks, and now they're cruising at 62-15 atop the West like it's nothing. Shai's flirting with a 33-point average and has dropped multiple 50-point bombs, and every time he explodes, fans act like he's outdoing KD's old OKC peak. Add Josh Giddey's playmaking, Chet Holmgren's versatile impact, Jalen Williams' 20-point nights, and that never-ending pipeline of draft assets, and Thunder supporters know they struck gold. They lost their stars and came back stronger than ever. Warriors fans come off like they've got a title subscription. Anything less than a ring is practically a crisis. They snagged Jimmy Butler at the deadline, ripped off a 19-3 run with him and Steph, and now everyone's acting like next championship is already engraved. Curry drops 52 on Memphis, and you'll hear, "See? This is why we're untouchable," like it's just another Tuesday. Before Curry turned up, Golden State was barely in the conversation. Now they've got Butler, Draymond, and a fan base that treats greatness like a birthright. Lose a game? No sweat. They'll chalk it up to rest days and next man up confidence. Every Curry milestone, 403 or whatever, gets framed as fate. Bottom line, Warriors fans expect epic every season, and if the title parade stalls, they act like someone hit pause on the universe. Mavs fans are drowning in heartbreak after watching their future get packed off to LA. Luka, the guy who gave them hope every single night, got shipped out for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a distant draft pick. He wasn't just a scorer, he was the heartbeat of Dallas, dragging them into the finals and flirting with triple-doubles in the playoffs. Now he's running Hollywood's show while Mavericks faithful are left asking themselves how it all unraveled overnight. As if losing Luka wasn't enough, Davis barely lasted 31 minutes before hitting the injury report, surprise surprise, and Kyrie Irving went down with an ACL tear, out for the season. Gafford, Lively, Washington, they're dropping like flies too. The Mavs are clinging to a play-in spot, staring at a lineup that looks more joke than contender. Meanwhile, Luka's out there racking up triple-doubles like it's business as usual. It's not just a player they lost, it's their entire identity, and every tip-off feels like watching a dream get buried. Sixers fans have mastered the art of waiting, because they've had no other choice. They endured the process, cheering through 10-win seasons just to rack up draft picks. When Embiid and Simmons finally arrived, it felt like the payoff was coming, until it fizzled. Simmons couldn't shoot, cracked under playoff pressure, and eventually walked away. Fans spent years watching him stall instead of soar. Then there's Embiid, an absolute force when he's on the floor, but when isn't often enough. This year he's been sidelined more than he's played, leaving Philly's season dangling. Add Jared McCain's injury and Maxey hauling the whole offense solo, and it's easy to see why Sixers supporters are forever in standby mode. They've waited for lottery luck, for Simmons to blossom, for Embiid's knees to hold up, and now they're just holding their breath until something finally clicks. Wizards fans might as well bring a raincoat. Everything about this season is a storm. Sitting at 17-60, they're not just bad, they're historically cursed. Twice they've dropped 16 straight, and social feeds are full of, "This isn't tanking, it's a hex." Even lottery dreams feel doomed with flat odds. Watch them slip down the board anyway. Injuries? A relentless tidal wave. Bilal Coulibaly was the one bright spot. Then a torn hamstring erased him for the year. Marcus Smart showed up at the deadline, but looks lost on offense, and Malcolm Brogdon's body sounds like it's on its last legs. Kuzma got flipped for Middleton, who's been bricking shots and hobbling around like the season's already over. Broken trades, busted knees, and blowout losses. It's a perfect misery loop in Washington. Bucks fans are all in on Giannis. Once they latch onto him, they never let go. No matter the chaos, slow starts, lineup shakeups, nagging injuries, they're convinced he'll power them through. He's putting up monster numbers this year, north of 31 points, almost 12 boards, and nearing 6 assists a night. Every game becomes proof that Milwaukee's still in the mix. Even after a rough 1-6 opener, diehards stayed patient, insisting Giannis would turn things around. And sure enough, despite battling a left foot sprain, he drops 37 on the Suns like it's another Thursday. His loyalty seals the deal. He's made it clear he's not asking for a trade. So Bucks fans have every reason to keep believing. Standings and injuries don't faze them. As long as the Greek Freak's suiting up, anything's possible. Rockets fans can't help themselves. They treat every superstar whisper like a rescue mission. The second any big name mutters discontent, their trade boards light up like it's do or die. Sure, Houston finally has a young core. Jalen Green, Alper Ayton, Jabari Smith Jr., all under 25 and showing real upside, and they snagged a playoff spot for the first time in ages, yet half the crowd's still dialing up trade proposals like they're begging for scraps. Here's the kicker. This squad finished second in the West. They've proven they can win without panicking, but lose one game, and it's fire up the trade machine. Some fans preach patience. Let this group gel and see what they do in May. Others are screaming for instant star power. Bottom line, Rocket supporters are always chasing the next big thing, instead of enjoying the shot they've already got. Suns fans go next level because they treat Booker like the one-man solution for every headache. He smashes the franchise scoring record. Suddenly it's guaranteed hardware. His loyalty and highlight reel magic have them convinced he'll drag this crew all the way, even when the supporting cast is falling apart. Remember the Beal trade? They celebrated like they hit jackpot. Then, when things went south, it was blame Beal overnight. His no-trade clause and chilled-out vibes during rough patches drove half the fan base bonkers. And KD? That's a soap opera in itself. Some want him locked in for life, others are pitching trades to build solely around Booker. Suns fans swing from championship or bust to burn it all down in a blink, convinced Devin's single-handedly their only shot at glory. T-Wolves fans are diehards. They stick around no matter how rocky the ride gets. This franchise hasn't exactly been playoff royalty, but you'd never guess it from their crowd. Take that epic Game 7 in 2024. Hundreds of fans piled into a beer garden just to watch on a big screen like their lives depended on it. That's the kind of passion you don't see everywhere. Anthony Edwards has that loyalty on lock. He's electric, and fans treat him like the hometown hero they've craved for years. Even after trading Karl Anthony Towns, someone they'd backed through thick and thin, most Wolves supporters didn't bail. They doubled down, though yeah, a few freaked out. Timberwolves fans are ride or die because they've survived every heartbreak, every shakeup, and every tough season, and they still show up, hats off and voices loud. For them, it's never been about easy wins. It's all about unwavering loyalty. Bulls fans bring that fire because their connection to this team runs deeper than any win-loss tally. The Jordan years forged a legacy so massive, the United Center still shakes like the 90s every night. They call it the Madhouse on Madison for a reason. The vibe is electric. Even in down seasons, this crowd never blinks. During the pandemic, they held on to hope tighter than ever, proving they're all in no matter what. And we're talking a global army here. Bulls gear flies off shelves worldwide, and their games pull huge numbers abroad. Moments like Derrick Rose's jersey retirement in January 2025 hit them right in the feels. Rose is hometown royalty, and when the team rolled out its first Ring of Honor, fans roared for every Hall of Famer honored. Bulls diehards live for every draft pick, trade rumor, and piece of history. Red runs in their veins 24/7. Cavs fans wear gratitude like a badge of honor. After weathering decade plus of heartbreak, right now feels like payback. It all kicked off when Cleveland snagged LeBron from Akron in 2003. He didn't just raise the city's profile, he delivered that epic 2016 title, snapping a 52-year drought in the most dramatic fashion. Every fan who stuck it out during the lean years still carries that memory in their bones. Flash forward to today. Cleveland's sitting atop the East at 62-16, and the energy is off the charts. Donovan Mitchell's raining buckets, Darius Garland's orchestrating like a maestro, and Evan Mobley plus Jarrett Allen are planting dominance in the paint. Add DeAndre Hunter's firepower off the bench and new coach Kenny Atkinson's balance system, and you've got the league's top offense. Cavs fans are thankful because they've gone from perennial underdogs to legitimate title contenders, and now they're chasing history all over again. Magic fans are basically a ghost town. Outside Orlando, it's like this team doesn't even show up on the map. Sure, you'll see a packed Amway Center on tour days, but let's be real. Half those seats belong to folks who just swung by after hitting Disney World. Yeah, there's some young talent doing cool stuff, but you wouldn't catch it scrolling your timeline. Other fan bases light up Twitter, but Magic chatter feels like yelling into an empty arena. Even a breakthrough season barely makes a ripple. Their subreddit? More like a therapy circle than a hype hub. Same dozen posters clutching straws, game thread after game thread. The hard truth, the Magic could roll off a 10-game streak and half the basketball world would stay blissfully unaware. That's why Magic fans feel non-existent. When your team flies under the radar this hard, even Magic can feel invisible. Clips fans are starving. They've spent their whole lives chasing that elusive first banner, and it still feels out of reach. Since the franchise dropped into LA in 1970, they've been stuck in a 54-year drought, watching everyone else pop champagne while they cling to hope. Even sharing a city with the Lakers only fuels the fire. Every Lake Show parade sharpens their appetite. Time and again, they've assembled contenders, only to see the case remain empty. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were hailed as the dream duo, and each postseason felt like, this is it. But the trophy still sits untouched. Clippers fans don't just crave a ring, they're desperate for it. They've weathered relocations, injuries, gut-wrenching losses, and every heartbreak in between, yet they pack the stands and roar on. Why? Because deep down, they know someday this has to be their moment. and they're not letting go until that celebration finally comes. Rip City faithful stick around through it all. No matter how rough the ride, they never bail. Since the 70s Blazer Mania first swept through Portland, these fans have been locked in. Even in the chaotic early 2000s, when the squad was crumbling on and off the court, they still filled the seats. Yeah, numbers dipped here and there, but the fire never died. Fast forward to today's rebuild. Losses stack up, but the arena's still rocking. Last year, despite a sub-.500 finish, they still pulled in over 18,000 fans per home game. In a smaller market, that level of support is huge. Players feel that energy. It's family out there. From the lone championship highs to every sweat and grit season since, Trailblazers fans stay true. Through every peak, every valley, and every reboot, they're right there, unwavering. Memphis fans bleed grit. They've made toughness their trademark. When the early 2000s grit and grind era kicked off, they embraced every hard foul and hustle play like it was their own heartbeat. Legends like Tony Allen, Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, and Mike Conley turned lockdown defense into an art form, and the crowd matched their intensity each night. Tony, the grindfather, Allen locked down MVPs and owned that nickname, and his spirit still reverberates through the stands. Today, growl towels twirl in playoff frenzies, and "whoop that trick" echoes like a battle cry across the FedEx Forum. No matter the record, Grizzlies fans show up fearless, through injuries, tough losses, and rebuilding years, because when their players bring the fight, the fans bring the roar. Gritty is in their DNA. Pistons fans are finally smiling because after years of tanking and heartbreak, they've got a squad worth tuning in for. Remember those 14-win disasters? They were the league's favorite punchline. Fast forward to a 44-38 finish, and Detroit's buzzing again. Credit goes to Trajan Langdon shaking up the front office and JB Bickerstaff stepping in as coach. Suddenly the vibe flipped. Cade Cunningham's living up to the hype, snagging his first All-Star nod while flirting with 26 points and 9 assists a night. Sprinkle in vets like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, and you've got playmakers and leaders steering the ship. Fans who used to watch blowouts now cheer every win toward the playoffs. Pistons supporters have gone from despair to hope, and for the first time in ages, it actually feels like their time is coming. Nets fans are wandering in the dark because this squad has no clear direction. Just a few seasons ago, they were dreaming big with KD, Kyrie, and Harden. Now they're rooted at 26-58, dead last, and nobody seems to know the next move. They flipped Mikal Bridges to the Knicks for future picks, which some hailed, but injuries have blitzed their plans. Cam Thomas, their go-to scorer, sits out with a hamstring strain, and even when he's back, he's not quite the same. Nick Claxton flashes brilliance but can't stay healthy, and D'Angelo Russell returned from LA only to get sidelined again. Every spark of momentum gets snuffed out. Trade after trade, yet none feels like it's steering toward a destination. Nets fans have gone from chasing rings to praying for ping pong balls, and right now it's anyone's guess where this ship is headed. Pelicans fans are in full-on heartbreak mode. Every time it looks like this squad's ready to blast off, it all implodes. Zion Williamson is both the thrill and the killer. When he's on the court, he's a force of nature, dropping 24-plus points a night on ridiculous efficiency, slamming home dunks like they're cutscenes, and flirting with triple-doubles like it's nothing. But staying healthy? That's the real impossible mission. He's gone down again with a back injury, ending his season early, and now fans are left staring at highlight reels, dreaming about what might have been. It's not just Zion either. Injuries have run through the roster like wildfire. CJ McCollum hit the shelf, Kira Lewis Jr. tore his Achilles, Trey Murphy and Herb Jones both wound up in surgery. The whole lineup feels like it was hit by a wrecking ball. Despite all that talent, they still limp to a 21-61 finish. Watching a playoff-ready roster self-destruct has to sting. Pelicans supporters are stuck in agony, cheering for a star who dazzles then disappears, trapped in a season-long injury carousel that smashed their hopes yet again. Pacers fans are about as local as it gets. They're Indiana through and through and beyond state lines. Crickets. Hoops is in their blood, from massive high school gym showdowns to Reggie Miller highlights, and they treat every Pacers win like a hometown victory parade. When Tyrese Halliburton's cooking, the energy spikes, right there in Indy, but try finding Pacers chatter on national feeds or primetime TV, and good luck. They're a small market squad with a small market buzz. Attendance hovers outside the top 20, and even nearby Louisville crowds lean toward college ball or the Colts. Most diehards have an Indiana tie, born there, grew up there, or dreamed of it, and they celebrate a W like it's a state holiday. Pacers fans are the ultimate homegrown tribe, loyal, passionate, and rooted so deep in Indiana that the rest of the world barely knows they're there. Hawks fans are hurting because this season's felt like the ultimate prank. They rolled into camp dreaming of a playoff push, and instead, well, they've been terrible. It's rough to watch, especially with Trae Young still cranking out 23 points and 15 assists on nights like that crazy win over Utah. But no matter how hard Trae's grinding, the supporting cast keeps crumbling. Injury bug's been merciless. Jalen Johnson was finally breaking out before that season-ending labrum tear. Larry Nance Jr. went down, and Clint Capella's stuck on the shelf with a hand injury. Onyeka Okongwu can't catch a break with knee issues, and the trades vaporized whatever depth they had. DeAndre Hunter's in Cleveland, Bogdan's gone, and the incoming pieces haven't done squat. It's a nightmare flip from conference final hopefuls to downright chaos. Shout out Dyson Daniels though, he's been one of the few bright spots in all this gloom. Hornets fans feel invisible. Outside Charlotte, they don't even register until LaMelo Ball whips off one of his circus passes. Sure, North Carolina bleeds basketball, but it's all Duke, UNC, and those massive high school gyms that steal the spotlight. The Hornets? They're left scrambling for attention in their own turf. When the Lakers or Celtics roll into town, it's like a road game. Visiting fans drown out any home crowd noise. Yeah, there's nostalgia for the 90s teal and purple era, Muggsy, Alonzo Mourning, but that vibe never broke through statewide. The league's current scene only amplifies the loudest markets, and Charlotte's not winning enough to make waves. Even when LaMelo's cooking up highlight reels, he's competing against bigger names for eyeballs. Bottom line, Hornets fans are stuck in a bubble, loyal to the core, but mostly forgotten by everyone else. Kings fans are ride or die because they've held on through every drought, drama, and almost moment. Sacramento isn't a bandwagon town. It's a small market that lives and breathes Kings basketball, where every tip-off feels like a hometown showdown. Back in 2013, when relocation rumors to Seattle were swirling, the fanbase rose up like their city's soul was at stake. They rallied, kept the team here, and built the Golden One Center as a shrine to their commitment. Through countless losing seasons and lottery letdowns, they never bailed. The cowbells still ring, the purple still floods the stands, and the beam still lights the night after wins. Sacramento's own victory beacon? While big market fans chase trends and headlines, Kings supporters stick around for the real deal, their team. That loyalty runs so deep, you could say the Sacramento Kings aren't just a franchise, they're family. Spurs fans keep it chill because decades of winning taught them to let the basketball do the talking. They're not plastering hot takes all over Twitter or hurling chants on every timeline. They'd rather sit back and watch greatness unfold. During the Duncan Parker-Manu dynasty, they snagged 5 rings without turning it into a spectacle. Sure, they soaked it all in, but there was no need to shout from the rooftops. The banners are up, so what's left to prove? Hailing from a smaller market like San Antonio just feeds that low-key swagger. They're ride or die loyal, yet they don't crave the spotlight. When Victor Wembanyama is out there swatting shots or knocking down effortless threes, Spurs fans nod in appreciation, no begging for ESPN soundbites. Rivals might joke that you'd forget they exist, but Spurs supporters don't flinch. They know real greatness speaks for itself, and they're perfectly happy listening. Raptors fans are on edge because they've tasted the summit and now fear the slide back into the grind. Since Kawhi's title-winning buzzer beater, there's been this undercurrent of, can we ever get back? His instant exit left a void that Scotty Barnes has stepped into, dishing dimes, crashing boards, doing a bit of everything, but doubt still lingers that one guy can carry the load solo. Shipping out Pascal and OG for youth and picks felt like waving a white flag on that old core, and now fans are pinning their hopes on RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. Yeah, it's a stretch, to blossom into go-to scorers. Every draft pick's a make or break. Every tweak in the front office feels seismic, and every injury sends waves of panic. Raptors diehards know the thrill of top-tier glory, and the thought of drifting back to just another team has them restless night after night. Jazz fans are reeling because their best years slipped away like sand through their fingers. Not long ago, they had Donovan Mitchell torching defenses and Rudy Gobert ruling the paint, and everything pointed to a deep playoff run. Then came that gut-wrenching collapse, up 2-0 on the Clippers, and somehow letting it slip away. After that, the front office hit the eject button on their core. Mitchell's lighting it up in Cleveland, Gobert's patrolling Minnesota's rim, and Utah fans are left clutching memories instead of banners. This city lives and breathes Jazz basketball, so watching their franchise duo flourish elsewhere feels like a punch to the gut. No stack of draft picks can erase the ache of what might have been. Oh, and let's not forget, Michael Jordan had their number every year too. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.